So this month I hit a new dividend income record and received 13 payments from some incredible companies like Proctor and Gamble and SBUX. And in this video, we're going to go through each of those payments and total them up to reveal this new income record for the month. And I'll show you my total dividend income received so far in 2022. But before we get to all that, in case you're new to the channel, my name is Ryan Williams, and here we strictly talk about dividend stocks and how you can invest in them to create passive income and reach financial freedom. So if you love dividend stocks and if you're on a mission to retire early, then hit that subscribe button. I'd love to stay in touch as we both continue to grow our portfolios and collect that cash flow. Speaking of which, leave me a comment below and let me know which stocks paid you a dividend this month. I'd be curious to hear if we have any of the same ones. Now moving on, the first dividend payment I received in November came from AT&T, ticker symbol T, who paid me $28.19 this month. Now currently I have just over 101.5 shares of AT&T at an average cost per share of $21.70. So my position is not doing too great right now. I'm down nearly 13%. But believe it or not, guys, for the year, AT&T is substantially outperforming the S&P 500 with a drawdown of only 1.4% compared to the S&Ps of about 17.5%. And this performance from AT&T is a lot better than what we're seeing from its counterpart Verizon, which on that note, Verizon was the second dividend payment I received this month. And as you can see, they paid me about $26.50, which brings our total for the month to $54.65. And as mentioned just a moment ago, Verizon has seen a much bigger drop than AT&T with a year-to-date loss of about 27%. And to take a little more advantage of Verizon's drop, I actually added a little bit more to this position earlier this month. I picked up 3.3 shares, which brings my total number of Verizon shares to almost 44 at an average cost of $51.40. And you guys can see I'm much deeper in the red here with Verizon than I am AT&T. Verizon, I'm down 25.5% compared to AT&T's near 13%. So it's about double the loss. Now next up, guys, is XYLD, who paid me $8.22 this month, which brings our total for November so far to $62.87. And XYLD actually paid twice this month. So this is payment 1 of 2, which we'll see later in the video, but that's because they didn't pay a dividend last month in October. And taking a look at my position, I have 20.5 shares of XYLD, and once again, I'm seeing quite a big loss with this guy. Down about 21%, and I've kind of talked more recently about putting XYLD on the chopping block in my portfolio. That's something I'm still chewing on, and if I do for some reason decide to sell out, I might just reinvest those funds back into JEPI, but once again, something I'm still thinking through. I do like the monthly income from this guy. The next payment I received came from Lowe's, ticker symbol LOW, who paid me $12.39 in November, bringing our total for the month so far to $75.26. And it was a great month for Lowe's, guys. You can see they were up over 6%, and in part this was due to their solid quarterly earnings report where they beat on both the top line and bottom line, and as a result raised their sales guidance for the full year. I really like being a shareholder of Lowe's, such a good company. And my position's getting up there. If we take a look at my tranches, guys, I've been slowly but surely adding to this position across the last few months. And right now I'm holding about 12.3 shares of Lowe's at an average cost of $194.33, which I think is pretty solid and leaves me with an unrealized gain at this point of about 7%. So it's not doing too shabby. Now moving on to the fifth payment I received, this one came from JEPI, who paid me $10.35, bringing our total for the month of November so far to $85.61. Now compared to XYLD, the other covered call ETF in my portfolio, JEPI is seeing much less of a drawdown. And right now I'm down just under 9%, and I'm currently sitting on about 17 shares of JEPI. And like I said, if I do for some reason decide to axe XYLD, I might just reinvest those funds back into JEPI. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Now next up, guys, payment number 6 is coming from Enterprise Products Partners, ticker symbol EPD, who paid me a whopping $35.55, bringing our total for the month of November officially across that 3-figure mark to $121.16. Now on a total return basis, EPD is basically crushing the S&P 500, where they've essentially doubled their performance in the last year. And this is partially due to their super high dividend yield of 7.77%, which they've been growing consistently for the last 23 years. Now I'm slowly but surely inching my way up to 100 shares of EPD, and right now I'm sitting on about 75 total shares at an average cost of $22.50. So my position is sitting pretty with a 10% gain, which is fine by me considering that this stock is not known to be a great share price appreciator. So I'll take any sort of gains I can get in that department. Now moving on to payment number 7, this one came from Owl Rock Capital Corporation, ticker symbol ORCC, who paid me $22.76, bringing our total for the month to $143.92. And ORCC had a really great month, up over double digits, but they are still down year to date about double digits as well. On the bright side though, ORCC announced a pretty nice 6.5% dividend raise, and along with that also announced a supplemental dividend of 3 cents per share that will be paid out to shareholders sometime mid-December, so I'll be looking forward to receiving that. And for the first time in a long time, guys, I added a bit more to my ORCC position. At the beginning of the month, I added 11 shares, bringing my total number of shares to about 84.5 at an average cost of $13.85. So I'm still down about 7.3% with an $85 loss, nothing too crazy. I might add a little bit more to ORCC, like I'm getting really close to that 100 share mark, and I think that would be a cool milestone to hit, so we'll see. I might add some more to that position. position in December. Now moving on, this next payment came from the monthly dividend company, Realty Income, ticker symbol O, who paid me $9.20, bringing our total for the month of November so far to $153.12. And my position is still holding on there, guys. I have just over 37 shares of Realty Income, have not added to this position in some time, but I'm still up about 10% right now, so I'm pretty happy with how it's been performing. All right, now jumping over to payment number 9, this one came from Main Street Capital Corporation, ticker symbol Main, who paid me $6.66, bringing our total for the month to $159.78. Now, there's nothing crazy really going on here with Main Street Capital Corporation. I have just over 30 shares of this bad boy at an average cost of $39.29, and I'm not down too much at all, down about 3.5%. So I'm just letting this company do its thing, and I'm continuing to collect that monthly dividend. Now, payment number 10 came from one of my favorite companies, Proctor and Gamble, ticker symbol PG, who paid me $14.47, which brings our total for November so far to $174.25. And Proctor and Gamble had a really great month, guys. As you can see, they're up almost 8% for the last 30 days, but they are still down year to date, about 11%. So not too bad, still beating the S&P 500 by just a little bit. Now, taking a look at my position, I didn't buy any Proctor and Gamble this month in November, but every single week back in October, I was adding to this position. So just across the last couple of months, I've added maybe a share and a half or 2 shares, which puts me at a total of just over 17 shares of Proctor and Gamble at an average cost of $134.74. And it wasn't that long ago that I was actually down in the red on my Proctor and Gamble position, which is what prompted me to start buying more shares again. But my goodness, how the tables have turned, guys, and now I'm currently sitting at a gain of just over 8%. Now jumping over to the next one, this payment came from AbbVie, ticker symbol ABBV, who paid me $14.18, bringing our total to almost $190. Now, as far as share price performance across the board, AbbVie has just been dominating. In the last month, they're up 8.5%. Year to date, they're up 16.5%. And across the last 5 years, they're up almost 63%. Very nice. And my position is looking pretty good. I have just over 10 shares of AbbVie, and I'm up nearly 40%, which makes me think I should have added more while it was down. But who knows? Hopefully in the future, I'll get the chance to contribute more to my AbbVie position. All right, guys. Now, the second to last payment came from another one of my favorite stocks. This one is StarBucks, ticker symbol SBUX, who paid me a whopping $20.50 in November, bringing our total for the month to officially over $200 per share, which is the first time this has ever happened. And StarBucks also had a really awesome month. They were up about 14.4%, but they are still down for the year just over 15.5%. And right now, my StarBucks position is in the green, which is great. I'm up about 9.5%, and right now I have about 38.5 shares of StarBucks. So things are looking good there. Now, our last payment, guys, which I told you about earlier, is coming yet again from XYLD, who paid me $8.32 for this last payment, which brings my total dividend income for the month and my brand new all-time high dividend income record to $217.20, which represents a 45.2% gain in income compared to this time last year where I received $149.58. Also, this brings us to an annual total of $1,565.60 so far, which is over $600 that I made in the entirety of last year. And the great thing about dividend investing is if you just reinvest your dividends and stick with it, you'll hit these new income records like every few months, multiple times a year for sure. So now with this month's payments behind us, guys, let's take a look into the future and see which stocks are going to be paying this upcoming month in December. And to do this, we are going to use my dividend portfolio tracking spreadsheet, which you guys can grab for free. There's a link to it in the description of this video. But over here on the dividend log page where I track all of my dividend payments, we're going to look back to September to see which stocks are paying in December. Now, because these stocks either pay on a monthly or quarterly basis, the same stocks that paid us in September will also be paying in December. Does that make sense? But taking this approach, we can see that Chevron will be paying us in December. We can see that Intel will be giving a dividend payment, obviously JEPI because it's a monthly payer. Johnson & Johnson will be paying a dividend. Lockheed Martin will be paying a dividend. Scrolling over, Main Street Capital Corporation will be paying a dividend. 3M will be paying a dividend. Realty Income as per usual. And then we have a couple other good ones. Snap-on and Southern Company also paying a dividend, as well as XYLD once again. So December looks like it's going to be ripe with dividends. And with that, if you're in the market for some cheap dividend stocks, then check out this next video right over here where I'm telling you about 3 that are just ridiculously discounted and all look like pretty good pickups this upcoming month in December. So check them out right here, and I'll see you in the next one.